Yo, I think it's time we take a fucking time out to hear what Harlem got to say. What, niggas? Harlem on the rise. You don't want no problem with us, guys.
Prepared.
Get in line, everybody get in line. Listen the fuck up. It's going down. Pay attention. Alright? Now, niggas salute me. Bitches salute me. The block salute me. The hood salute me. You should salute me. They should salute me. So fuck who you are. I'm the motherfucking general. Niggas salute me. Bitches salute me. The block salute me. The hood salute me. You should salute me. They should salute me. So fuck who you are. When I walk through, everything stops. Silence, remain quiet. Babies don't cry. Thugs don't.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat.
He talks like his shit don't stink, but he's good people.
I knew his father. I liked his Uncle Jackie better.
Jackie was all right. Uncle Jackie was excellent.
Fucking guineas. The Jackie.
Uncle Jack was like...
Doc, you gotta give us some good news.
Yeah. About that.
Yep. What's going on? What's going on over here? Source Ben, what's good? What's good? Source Ben, we're waiting for the technical difficulty to be over.
What's good, everybody?
What's going on? This is Uncle Jackie. I'm with Doc. I'm with Moves. Yo, Source, you there?
Yes, sir.
Source Ben. All right, while he get himself together, y'all introduce yourselves.
Go ahead, Moves.
All right, yeah, this Moves.
You can cam back up if you want. You can cam back up.
Oh, you got it. Excellent. And I didn't get an avatar on that yet, but hey, I'll work on that. Yeah, I moved, hailing from here in Kentucky, little town, less than 1,000 people in Kentucky. Moved here 15 years ago from NYC. That's how I know my man's Uncle Jackie here. And that's about it. I'm here to talk about conspiracies and then get down to the nitty gritty or create more confusion. Who cares?
Word. Oh, there's a lot of us. Okay, come back.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
I'm thinking that's Al. I'm thinking that's Al if I'm not mistaken.
Well, anyway, what's going on, y'all? My name Doc. You already know Doc0528, YouTube, Yellow Tape. Yeah, I'm out here with Uncle Jackie. We out here talking conspiracy theory.
All right, that is Al. Okay.
What up, God?
Yo, you here? What's going on, Al? What's going on, brother? Yeah, we can hear you,
I'm good, man. Yo, this is my first time on your show, man. I appreciate it, man.
No doubt.
I ain't a major sports fan, but conspiracy, we can talk that.
No doubt.
It's my first time too, Source. It's my first time too, Source. Reminding me of my manners. I'm sorry. Thank you for having me. This is my first time here too, man.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yo, Al, you might know Doc, man. He's from the map.
Put up at my house so I could use my.
Yeah, you don't have to necessarily be on the cam too if you just use the audio, you know what I mean? Whichever better for you too, fam. I mean, the cam is better for everybody to see what's going on, but you know what I mean? Whichever better for you as far as, you know, you driving or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, am I coming in crispy and clear and shit?
Yeah, you good.
Yeah, like I was saying, Al, Doc is McAdoo alumni. He definitely was there before you got there.
Yeah, he split off the screen.
All
right.
Yeah. This shit just broke up a little bit. That was on mine or on your end?
Of your end.
All right, let's get the
You
topic.
said
We
something about
talking
alumni and you
conspiracies, man.
blanked out on me and came back.
Well, he was saying that he was saying I'm from McAdoo as well. I was in McAdoo for a little bit.
Yeah. I'm like the last generation of when that shit was nice.
Nice, McAdoo.
What? comparing to them eras, the 90s era. Yeah, you probably having a little.
Well, when it had some kind of spirit in that motherfucker, everything else was more.
Oh yeah, you know, that shit was crazy in there.
Yeah, I'm breaking
Like
up because it
NYC
seems
before
everything
2001.
looked nice on my end.
But everybody try to figure out. You haven't your thing's going in and out, but you mostly good, but your thing like your signal is not always there. You know what I mean?
All right, go ahead. Somebody start off with one.
All right. Let's see here. Oh man, I don't want to go for the jugular right now, but just the only thing that's on my mind: Ashley Biden's diary. What the hell is on with that, man? From what I understand, there are a lot of reports that, and they could be conspiracy. Like I said, I don't. I'm not. Allegedly, she left her diary at a place that either she was staying at or she was renting out to somebody. But the story that seems to dominate the whole issue was that she was renting a place from somebody, and when she left her diary. And when they went to clean out her apartment or house or whatever she was renting, they found it and turned it into the authorities because they went thumbing through it and it suggested, well, from what I understand, she wrote in her diary that that her father Joe used to shower with her up until the age of 12. So yeah, there's the craziest thing that I could that's popping up into my head is Ashley Biden's diary. She mentions how I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish. I'm going to hear the whole story because this is the first time this came up.
Yeah, me too.
That's the thing. That's what I want to get down to tonight. That's exactly what I want to get down to tonight because I listened to a conservative / almost Republican or right side type of media all the way up until this past handful of years where COVID came out. The Trump's election seemed to bring a lot of attention to a lot of things. And so did Obama's election. But after Obama's terms, you know, there were a lot of things that took place in Obama's presidency that weren't really brought into light until after he left office.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not so much as that the things that are taking place are conspiracy theory. It's their timing. The timing of everything, of everybody letting each other know, isn't adding up. Like take for instance the Hunter Biden laptop. A lot of Democrats were saying there was like 48% of Democrats were saying that if they knew about Hunter Biden's laptop before the election, they would have never voted for. They would have never voted for Biden.
They would have left him as being the nominee. You know what I mean? They would have had someone else being nominee, you know, for the Democratic nominee, because he had too many baggage. You know, he was already looking at for being a pedophilia or touching little people a little bit, you know, too much or for a long period of time. So that would definitely look. He had a lot of baggages with him, and I think that if they knew, which I think some people had whispers to it about the Biden laptop.
You want to know how easy it is to forget history? And here's another reason why Biden would have never been elected if the public was notified, and that goes for Democratic or Republican for that matter. There was a crime bill that Joe Biden wrote back in '94. Okay, it's commonly called the crime bill, but I forget the technical word for it. But this son of a whatever, this mother whatever, the lowest piece of garbage of legislation to be ever inflicted upon the American public was the was that bill that Biden wrote. That's the three strikes law. That he wrote the bill that put so many people of color in jail over an ounce of weed, or in jail over a stem in their car because they had the three strike rule. And
Right.
the weird thing of it is, look up, gentlemen, please, by all means, look up who repealed the Biden's bill, the crime bill. Look who repealed that. And I'm not going to even tell you who it did. You have to do that research on your own. You have to learn on your own who canceled out Joe Biden's crime bill and allowed people to get out of prison because of, or jail or prison because of minor infractions like small possession, possession of less than an ounce or an ounce or over. And I'm talking about weed or drugs for that matter. And then Kamala Harris, no, it wasn't. It wasn't the Bill Clinton that repealed the crime bill. Was not, guarantee you. And here's I mentioned Kamala Harris too. Kamala Harris was the Attorney General for the state of California. Now, I was raised in California, and yeah, she slept her way up to the top allegedly, and she had several affairs with some big wigs. But like I said, it's allegedly. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't there when she unzipped the pants, and I wasn't there when she got undressed. So the thing is that so what she did as the Attorney General is that she would go to prisons. Shit you not, fellas. She would go to prisons and pull inmates to do contracted work, allegedly. Okay. To do contracted work. Had prisoners doing slave labor because she would contract out to the state of California for these construction jobs and not just the state, but to these other jobs. So here this woman is going on the premise. She campaigns on the premise of this Whitey is evil. They want to put you back in chains, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And meanwhile, she was conducting slavery in the state of California with inmates, where people were going to jail, people who went to jail on that crime bill for years and years and years. And here it is, 20, 30 years later, and who's our president? Who is our vice president? Somebody who absolutely enslaved prisoners who do work. And I'm like I said, conspiracy theory. I don't want to hide behind that word. Yes, sir.
I'm coming in loud and clear. Yeah, my two cents is, not for nothing. I'm the type of person that don't believe that any of the elections, in a sense, is a real tally of what the consensus of everybody wants. But at the same token, I just don't feel like, just based on traveling around during the pandemic and just moving around and what I saw, and then I'm also like a multifaceted type of dude. I got baby mothers everywhere, right? Nobody is really chanting for Biden. I just don't believe he won the election just on popular vote alone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
amen.
Like, it just seems impossible. Like, if that's a conspiracy, that's some shit I'm sticking to, because I don't need. I've never met somebody that's really all out for Joe Biden like that. You know what I'm saying? So for somebody to win by like 81 million votes, forget about all his policies and his past and all that shit. Like, dude, it's like, you know how World Trade happened and they just swept it under the rug and they was like, yeah, we did an investigation and we moved all the stuff out of there, and and it just like blurred past everything, like all the shit that you would expect to happen. Like, motherfuckers pat you down and do more inquisitions on you when you have weed in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? Then whatever the fuck happened with that World Trade. It's like it just happened, and then the news was like, yeah, we said such and such, we found a passport, blah, blah, blah. All right, forget about it. You feel me? That's just how that election shit happened. A few people was like, yeah, man, that shit is fraud. A lot of people that you would meet in the street would even be like, yeah, I think that shit was a fraud, right? The media just broadcasted like a quick stroke of the brush or whatever, and then that was it. And then Donald Trump was like, all right, he did the little I secede to this shit, and yeah, he's the president. But it's like, come on, man, that shit, it just didn't make no sense how that shit just, it was like, it didn't, this nigga wasn't, I don't even remember nothing he said significant that I could even say at least the brainwashed masses was like buying or gobbling that. What did he say that the brainwashed people, like, Obama had the yes we can, Bob
But
Dole had, what the Bob Dole had? Everybody got their little mantra.
Yeah,
The
like a
slogans.
Everybody got their
slogan that
little
they
mantra.
campaigned with.
So, right? What was Joe Biden's slogan?
Sleep.
No,
Sleep.
you plenty of rest.
You get
yeah,
what I'm saying?
you gotta understand that. You gotta understand at the time when Joe
No.
Biden came up, Joe Biden was going against Trump the second time. Nobody wanted
There
to
you
see
go.
Trump back in office. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
A
And
lot
they know what they
of
was
people,
getting.
a lot of people respected Trump, and I'm telling you why they respected Trump, my black community, because he gave us stipend, he cared about, he gave money to us towards the end during COVID, and everybody had to come up during that time. You know what I mean? So a lot of young individuals or people, I'll be 47 this year, but like people 10 years younger than me, or in that era coming and going down, a lot of people respected Trump. You know what I mean? One, because he was in hip hop videos and he was down with the hip hop community prior to him, being want to be a politician or becoming a politician. And secondly, that what was he saying was wrong, or besides him being a little racist, you know what I mean? And people was like, I'd rather know that a person racist than a person, doing it behind my back. You know what I mean? So it was like
I don't even find I can't honestly say he said racist shit like in no time at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? He just said shit that he talked with a business New York twang. He's an old timer. You know what I'm saying? Like even for a person in his age group, he didn't say nothing that I could like sit there and subjectively say, yo, that shit was racist,
no, but
Hey,
man. You know what I mean? Like,
can I say something slightly racist, please?
yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay, I gotta be gentle about this, but the thing is like I didn't expect this perspective from three black gentlemen. Okay, what I expected was I don't know what to expect, especially because I was raised conservative and Republican, and I bumped into a handful of Democrats that were black, and they were like, you know what, Trump's a racist, that hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts, this, that, and the other thing. And I wanted that perspective. I want to barter and argue with that perspective so I can understand where it's rooted, why it is what it is. Because, like you said, Trump made himself a landmark, a mogul of some sort. He was always selling himself, always constantly from the WWE to, and that's what made
not for nothing.
you know what? Yeah.
Culturally, he could have been perceived as a Democrat. You know what I'm saying? Like the surprise was that he was running Republican. If you think about it, if you go back to the beginning,
but
and if you apply what we remember about him and his rhetoric, he kind of could have been a Democratic person if you a liberal.
well,
he wasn't really conservative.
I always thought he was Republican because how it was presented as a Republican and Democrat. You from the hood and not knowing what's what. You know what I mean? But that didn't make that didn't have no effect on how I seen him. I just seen him about the talk that he was talking, and it may not have to say go out there and kill black people, go out there and hang black people. But when you talk about make America great again, you know what I mean, and not define what you mean about make America great again. You know what I mean? And you was feeding off the trailer park people, you know what I mean? No disrespect to nobody, you know what I mean? But you was feeding off the Midwest, the dirty South, you know what I mean? And with that rhetoric, people could take it different ways. Just like how people could take a text and implement feelings inside of it, you know what I mean? So
I will say this: if we want to identify the kind of black people that would be totally anti-Trump, be people that come under maternal or mate.
Oh shit, he's breaking up.
You're breaking up, bro. Come again.
Yeah, I said it would be more. Yeah, let me say that the people that I believe would be predominantly anti-Trump within the black diaspora would most likely be people who come from matriarchal households or matriarchal Ryan neighborhoods. You know, like
Agreed. Weird. Yeah. Go ahead, please. Sorry.
He was
I
heating
gotta
up.
stop.
it's most likely
I gotta
female.
stop interrupting the man.
Yeah,
We
my
won.
internet doing this thing again.
We won. Yeah.
Matriarchal background.
What's going on with my internet, man?
We can hear you though. All right, now, all right. Can you hear us? But basically, I think. Well, I don't even want to allude to what he was alluding to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because that's kind of a dangerous conversation. I think you start making stereotypes about women. It's kind of you tread some crazy
Oh no,
waters
that
right
doesn't
there.
bother me. That
Well,
doesn't
yeah,
bother. That part
I'm
doesn't
not.
bother me.
It's not a.
It's
It's not a
just
battle
I
in
wanted to hear what he
type
was
of thing.
saying.
It's just factually, the whole Democratic rhetoric about
Oh shit.
Yeah.
They don't want us to hear him. Let me stop.
Yo, that's
Yeah.
another
But I'm
conspiracy.
feeling that
That's more and
energy.
more
I was
conspiracy.
picking up what he was putting down. Definitely. You know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, I feel that. But
Adam's a smart. I mean, he's a smart dude.
yeah.
as soon as I try to get my
And
nuts in
it's
this
relieving.
shit just be fucking with me, man.
No, you're fine, homie.
It's fucking with me. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you
Yes.
now.
If you want to go
Back up a
mic
little bit,
straight,
man, because
it might be
I'm right by
easier
my
on your.
fucking I'm right by my house Wi-Fi. I'm not even using LTE and shit.
But you know
I'm
what?
better
Try just
That
the
might be the best. Just your
yo,
phone.
like I used to be, big on RB.
Damn it. Yeah, the man, it was about that I can allude to. He used to be big on R&B.
Yeah.
That I can guess he was gonna say that. Damn, what I was about to say. All right, as far as y'all was saying with the Trump thing, let me give myself some solo action. Like y'all was saying with the Trump thing, people just didn't. They voted for Biden, like Doc was saying, because they just didn't want to vote for Trump. They don't know why, but they just pick Biden. They don't know nothing about Biden. They don't know what he implemented. What direction he wanted to take the U.S. in. They just said, as long as it's not Trump, I'm going to vote for him. And that was dumb. As soon as Trump left office, gas prices went up, this went up, that went up. It's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? I'm not a voting man. I mean, I got no choices but to roll with the punches. But the voting people, please do your homework next time. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to suffer for y'all stupidity.
But what it was, it just was that Trump was like I said, it was getting too, people was getting too comfortable saying the word nigga. You know what I mean? Excuse my language on your show. You know what I mean? But there was a lot of Caucasian people too comfortable saying the word nigga. You know what I mean? And meaning it not with the A, not with the ER at the end. You know what I mean?
Sticking the landing.
You understand? And claiming,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then, and not to bring, political things inside of it either, but if you think about it, he, a lot of presidents were staying away from naming, a capital for Israel. You understand? Or moving the capital to Israel. You understand? I mean, from to Jerusalem to wherever it was. You understand? I don't know where it was. You know what I mean? But he declared it. You understand? And that kind of shift movement and shift politics to a different level.
Yeah, but Trump wouldn't have had to pay so much attention to Israel if Obama hadn't denied Israel's aid in the first place. Because once Israel became a country or an independent country, they got a lot of aid from the United States. We're talking about like right after World War II, you had your Holocaust that took place, and and for a good handful of decades, almost half a century. 50 years is a long time to get support from us simply because, they were they suffered the way that they did. Was it 6 million Jews were persecuted during World War II in Auschwitz and these other concentration camps. Now, that developed a great relationship between the United States and Israel. But when Obama got into the office and he started going on his apology tour, so to speak, of the Middle East, that's where the support for Israel was taken away. He did it by executive order. You can look it up. And so support that United States had for Israel for almost half a century had stopped. Now, for what reason that he used it, I forget. Like I said, these are the ramblings of a madman. But once Trump got into office, or once Biden got into office, or rather, here's a weird freaking change. Now, when Trump got into office in 2016, it was Russia. It was all about Trump conspiring with Russia or colluding with Russia, not conspiring, colluding with Russia. And they had this huge investigation, spent $50 million of taxpayers' money to investigate, and they found nothing, absolutely nothing. But the weird thing of it is that through executive order and sanctions, Trump stopped the Russian pipeline, the Nord Stream pipeline that was running from Russia into Germany. They were building it right then and there, and they were damn near had it finished when Trump said, "Stop the construction on that shit right now, and if you don't, we're gonna put sanctions on every product that comes out of Russia into the United States. You guys are gonna pay." And he did the same thing with Mexico. Mexico decided to pull some shit too, and that's when Trump decided to say, "Hey, look, if you don't send us 28,000 troops to protect our borders, then we're going to put 100% tariff on your products." So the Nord Stream pipeline, since Trump treated Russia the same way, the construction on the Nord Stream pipeline had stopped before Russia could put their pipeline into Europe, because at Germany, if they stop at Germany, Russia can provide the rest of Europe with all kinds of gas like there's no tomorrow, providing and putting billions and billions of dollars in Putin's pocket. So if Trump was colluding with Russia, why in the world would he stop a pipeline that would provide billions and billions of dollars for Russian money to give them plenty of money to invade the Ukraine? But as soon as Biden gets into the office, and you can look this shit up, this is absolute hardcore fact. The first day that Biden was in office after his inauguration, one of his 47 executive orders was to open back up the Nord Stream pipeline. No bullshit.
It's obvious that the Biden administration and people that's connected to him and all and affiliated are needing that Ukraine situation so they could funnel money into whatever accounts and different little businesses we have, little corporations and all the whatever alphabetical corporations that we don't know about. It's basically the Ukraine madness happens, and it becomes a distraction that exerts all of our media attention, and not just our media attention, but like all kinds of laws come into place because now we're in a war, and so all that stuff shuts everything down. It's like how politicians been basically for the past maybe 60 years outright evading the constitutional rights of Americans. But because they're in Congress, they get to pass laws to basically keep us tied up before we can actually get to them. There's nobody who could read the Constitution in plain layman's English and then say, you know what, I don't think these people committed treason. They did commit treason. The majority of Congress, if they've been there for more than 20 years, they're outright committing treason. Like even the fucking governor of Texas sitting there and not pressing charges on Joe Biden. He should have had a warrant out for Joe Biden's arrest in the state of Texas. Anybody who don't think like that they're playing all this bureaucratic game because they got a stake in the long game. Which is we literally dealing with a parasite group of people who I believe it's a biological issue too. But that's a whole nother topic. But if this is conspiracy theory, I happen to believe that the ruling class of American politicians, whether they be black, white, whatever they are, tend to be a bunch of inbred people who make babies the same way for thousands of years or whatever, and they just happen to be in political system. Because
Yeah,
America is
and you mean to allege this, right? That you're
huh?
alleging this, right, my man?
Well,
You're
I'm not even
alleging
alleging it.
that
It's like
we can't.
I'm alleging the
You know
inbred
what I'm
part
saying?
because there's no culture core of people who have that particular understanding. I deliberately make mixed people on purpose. So
Yeah.
I have the forefront science on it. I'm not some black guy that fucks white girls and Arabs or whatever and accidentally make babies. Deliberately make mixed people because I live a life of a scientist that doesn't have a institute yet, and I'm writing the book as I'm doing it. And so one of the things that I come to realize is that we are ran by a bunch of inbreds, and if you look all over the world, history shows you that because everywhere in every country we have proof that we used to be this dynamic group of people that built all kinds of crazy shit, and not no group of people, whether they're in Africa, whether they're in Europe, whether they're in Asia somewhere, can uh, surpass that or add on to it. It's all in runes, and one of the things all these nations and body of land have in common is we're ruled by a bunch of people who look the same way. They breed into each other and they get power. So you got in America right now, you got these old Anglo-Saxon people who tend to be in Congress with their wives are the same way, right? Even on the black side, you got the Black Caucus. All these niggas, the Johnsons, the Williams, the whoever, the Sharptons and shit. They all look the same. They make kids with the same kind of people that their fathers been doing. And what happens is we're blinded by politics and all this other stuff, and we're not allowed to see the biology of it all and trace it just through the biological premises. Right? We're looking at the politics and we're being distracted by all this politics. But there's a bunch of fucking inbreds everywhere in the world, and they're trying to retain power by keeping us, fighting against races and stuff like that. Because what happens is when people mix into new bloodlines, you get new answers, information and truth that was hidden from the ruling class gets exposed because through relativity, just the pure power of relativity, right? You know what I'm saying? So they want to keep these group of white people saying with this white supremacy shit. They want to keep a group of black people with this black supremacy retaliatory shit. They want to keep all the Mexicans coming in and mating with each other. Like, look at the simplicity of it all, right? Hear me out just before I cut myself. I've been running my mouth. But hear me out. Think about all these immigrants coming into America and they finding themselves and making babies. What they become eventually, a ruling class, right, or a voting bloc, and they bring whatever culture instead of mixing and blending in with somebody here. For example, the Chinese. Every fucking state you go is a goddamn Chinatown, right? So if these Chinese people got communist mentality and they come to
Somebody
America and
gotta
they don't
read
make
that.
babies with a white guy, a white American, or a black American, or Latino American, what they end up doing is becoming a voting body, and because they have a certain strength and unity, they end up voting things with more power than the Americans who've been here for 5 and 6 generations and blending in.
Well,
You see what I'm saying?
can I interject for a
Yeah.
second? Now, when it comes to Asian folks, am I not mistaken in saying that they have a strong family background? They're strong family unit, like that.
Right.
Their parents are very
But
strict against.
let's consider that,
The,
and that's fine and everything, right? But let's consider that we are in America, and if you really look at what America historically is representative of, is blending in all the cultures and all the people under the banner of this Constitution and these intrinsic rights. You get what I'm saying? These intrinsic rights
yeah,
that allows the human experience to be as God themselves. You get what I'm saying? To take responsibility
but the
for existence.
Constitution doesn't. The Constitution doesn't ensure us intrinsic rights. It ensures us. Pardon me. It ensures us God-given rights. That's
Okay, yes,
part of
yes,
the
yes.
reason why.
Yeah, I use
You
the
know,
wrong term, but yes.
intrinsic. Yeah. I think you just. I think you're on the right track as far as the word intrinsic. I didn't mean to nitpick on that in any way, shape, or form.
But when
But
what I'm saying is that it's like we definitely see what happens is man is God. Let's just say that for example, right? Let's simplify it, right? God is the spirit of bringing in all the principalities of existence into fruition. You see what I'm saying? So what America was allowing us to do, because what happened is we become calcified in all these other nations. I'm gonna call them inbred nations. The reason why I'm gonna use that terminology is if you go to Africa, everybody looks the same in their particular region and landform. If you go to Europe, you got people that all look the same in a particular region and landform. If you go to if you go to the Asia areas, you're gonna see, or Eurasia, right? You're gonna see people that all look the same. And the thing all those nations have in common is once a body becomes the ruling class of those particular bodies of inbreds, they stay there forever and they'll never change. What America allowed was a place of osculation, genetic osculation. You see what I'm saying? By having a
Yeah.
place in a forum where all these different types of units of human embodiment or image of God can come together, and then because there's so much in variety, then one cancels out the other through logic and a process of strength in its
Yes,
existence
but
and its morality.
I don't think that's the cause of the weakness of American lifestyles
I
or
didn't say the weakness.
American culture.
The weakness. The
No, no,
strength
no.
of
But I'm saying,
America
oh,
is to allow all these different types of genetic bodies to come together. That's what makes America
yes, I
become.
agree. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree, but to a certain level of degree, America is here for the best of the world, not the cast it out, not the okay. Everybody's got assholes in their
But I
family.
didn't say to cast
We
it out.
don't.
I didn't say to cast it out. Hear me out again,
Okay,
right?
okay. I'm listening.
We
Yeah,
live in
yeah,
a
yeah. I'm right here.
we live in a biomatrix. So we live in a matrix is a system of things that make things work, right? And it's
Okay.
biological, right?
Yes.
The biological aspect is humans are receptors and transmitters of the spirit of God, because the spirit just means the animating force, right? So what
Yeah.
America does, it allows all the different biological bodies, embodiments, to come together
Yeah.
in one place, and through reproduction and through systems of competition, right? And
Yeah.
capitalism to combine and to capitulate genetic evolution through the human species. You see what I'm saying? So what happens is what America is suffering with right now is that for a couple of years we haven't been really pushing reproductive sciences to the masses. Everybody just been coming
Oh
here and
hell no!
settling
You're right.
within their own cultures.
You're
So as a
you're
result of
absolutely
that,
right.
you have you get what I'm saying? So as a result,
Absolutely,
you
hands
got these white
down.
people, you got these white people who are just mating with each other, but then becoming a voting body. The black people mating with each other, holding on to arguments in their genetics. So forget all the politics. The politics is the after shadow of the genetic situation that we have.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
who's the woman who created Planned Parenthood? Who's the woman that created that shit? Anybody do any
Margaret,
research on her? What's her
Margaret
name,
Thatcher,
man?
or something like Margaret Thatcher, or
No,
something
no,
like
no.
that.
That was the Queen of England. That's Queen of England, homie.
Oh yeah, I'm
But I
bugging
know
out. I'm
it's an
bugging out.
old name like that. It's an old name like that. But God damn. Well, so, anyways, read any of her books. She was looking to control the black population right then and there.
That's
You
what I
know,
think.
and that leads to exactly what you're saying, source. You know, that's exactly what that you're
So see,
alluding
when
to.
you
Is
you
here
got
is
to
a
hear me out
perfect
too.
example.
It's not just this idea that the white people was always trying to be at the top of that particular process of nature and rule it and control it, but it's also black
No,
leadership from ancient Africa and even in different parts of the world. Even the Asians got their own. They're all in collusion. All the inbreds are in collusion with each other at the top. The so-called L class, elite class, right? Of all these different types of inbred groups are trying to retain power because again, but they're trying to use the American system to capitulate that shit instead of. But the thing about America is it wasn't designed to keep one class of people in power over the other. It was designed to allow movement of human evolution. America is a really great project, bro. Like no matter how
yes,
what people say about the beginning and how they try to reclassify how it was originated and all that. America been on this planet probably for billions of years doing the same thing it's doing now. There was always groups of traveling, white people traveling, black people traveling, whoever coming to this landform because you could find different types of bones and different evidence from different eras, and it skip eras too, right? And you'll constantly keep finding it. Old pyramids, old tombs, old buildings, old castles, old underground military bases, and old underground civilizations. Constantly, they'll just keep finding it in America over and over and over with different kinds of bone structures that sort of emulate different people from other places. So what America is really, we just a new class of people or humans that was retaught bullshit to maintain a certain power. So some inbred somewhere could maintain a certain kind of power.
Okay, I got
whether
one
it's
question
black
for you
inbreds
though.
or
So
white
let's
inbreds or Asian inbreds, whatever. These inbreds are basically trying to retain power and keep us fighting each other so we don't mate and create a new evolved human to supplant them. Because that's what
yes,
America has always
and
been about.
I think that that's honestly an effect of what's happened with America in the
Mm,
past 200 years or so that we've been in America, because
mm,
the whole experiment in the first place was to create a paradise where the genius of the world would come and see and do the research on from the land, the resources to creating every because when in 1492 we still had the technology of the Roman Empire, aqueducts,
mm.
the wheel, horse and carriage, gears, creating. Okay, you go into Egyptian, they found batteries in the sands as well. So I think I think what you're alluding to is that this is how spoiled our yeah, this is how spoiled the American dream has become because of this particular inbreeding and this questing
Yeah.
for what to happen. But the thing is that the first couple of first like 150 years, they're in the midst of creating this paradise, and it wasn't a paradise for everybody. I'm not stupid. I know my
Well,
history when it comes
it
down
could
to
never
it,
be
but
you could never have, you know how polarity works, right? You know, everything on this planet in existence in the physical form is going to utilize polarity, right? Because you can't have
yeah,
oscillation. You know, oscillation is the combination of all types of particular sciences, like for thermal, right? You got thermal, you got gravitational, you got
yeah,
directional, you got, right? So, in
yeah,
order for that shit to work, you need negative and positive, right? So, if you have, say, black, it has polarity within the black, right? Let's use colors, right? We're not talking race now, but we're just using plain colors.
yeah,
And within the color paradigm, you're gonna have black, negative, positive, black. And within the white paradigm, you're gonna have negative, positive, white. Within the brown paradigm, you're gonna have negative, positive, brown. And within the yellow paradigm, you're gonna have negative, positive, yellow, right? You can't get energy out of black, negative and positive, because it wouldn't be negative and positive over a period of time when it keeps on regurgitating itself. You get what I'm saying? In other words, a black
yeah.
woman would be
Okay,
like a black man eventually at some time to a black man, and vice versa with whites and yellow Asians and brown mixies, right? In other words, it's like if I make a mixie kid, for example, I have a Russian wife, I make a son, he's brown. If say another interracial couple make a brown child, and then that brown child mate with that brown child, and then over time they just keep mating with each other, and they just make a whole group of brown people. They'll even at first, within a couple of cycles, you're gonna have some energy, some spark, right? The spark gonna be there. Oh,
okay,
look, a new group of people. We call them Puerto Ricans or whatever, right? And eventually they just keep
okay.
making. Then they'll have to collapse. They'll have to collapse until they introduce new spirit or new embodiments, because new embodiments come with what? New vibratory frequencies, different types of ideas, different family members, and so on and so forth, right? But if they don't do that, what they end up becoming is they collapse on themselves, and so outside entities will have no choice but to utilize them, because we still live in a matrix of balance. And if you're sitting on land but there's gold there, but you don't know how to actually turn the gold into electronic computers or whatever it fucking is, right? We need the gold for.
Yeah,
Eventually, you're gonna have to get conquered. It's not that they want to conquer you; you're
but
in the way
I would
of progress.
argue. I would argue for a second, if I could interject for a second. I would argue
Mhm.
that balance isn't there. That even on not just a scientific level, but on a biblical level as well. You know, the in the Bible, God told us that. No, actually, the Bible tells us that God made a deal with the devil, man. You know, he said, here's the whole earth for 1,000 years, and I guarantee you won't get every last one of my souls, because that's what the devil pretty much told God. He told God, he said, look, I hate your new creation so much because you gave them free will. They can do whatever the hell they want.
But that's when
They
you.
can spit in your name. They can do whatever they want to you. And when I was under your rule, all I could do was do what you told me, and that was it. That's what the devil hated about God. Angels had no choice but to follow the will of God. There was no ifs, ands, or buts, no free will, no yes, no. Oh, I feel this way or that way. No, I want every fucking firstborn son in Egypt slain to free these Jews. And he sent Saint Michael or Gabriel or whatever, and he slaughtered every firstborn. So when Satan was arguing with God and saying, "Hey, you know what? Your little new creation, I got you. All right, I'm going to tempt them every fucking day I possibly can, and I'm going to bring them down."
Let's go to the etymology. What's Satan? Shatan, right? That just means government, ruling class. In the old Hebrew, in the old Aramaic, right? It's just ruling class, right? So you basically talking about the government, and again, who's the government? Usually, people who are inbred. You can't go nowhere on the planet and find a bunch of mixies being the government in as far as the source and the core of the government and the upper echelon of that government system. It's always going to be
since creation,
married his cousin, who came from another person who married their cousin.
Yeah, but man's defiled himself in so many different ways other than just incest, though. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it's like I imagine incest would lead to it.
Incest is
that what you're saying? It's like
incest is the grand scheme of, and in the grand scheme of everything, we're all incessant. But there's levels and spectrums of it, meaning like how pure is the ancestry, right? How pure is the ancestry? Like if it's too pure, then you get a breakdown and you get repetitiveness. You can't get change in ancestry.
I mean, not to make too silly of a joke when it comes down to ancestry. I hope, I wish that I had some some Africans, some Chinese, especially Chinese, because they're really good at math. And being doctors and shit, and I want some Chinese tea so bad it's not even funny.
Right, but at the same time, the thing to know about those people,
I don't want the piano lessons though, man.
Let's break it up into three, right? Let's break it up into three, like a triangle, right?
All right,
let's kind of get a point. We got Mongoloids, Negroids, and Caucasoids, right? Those are the three racial constructs. The coloration is not actually an indicator of race. Coloration is just an indicator of whether you
it's just
whether you was brewed on the equator, right? If you was brewed on the equator, the Tropic of Karakum and the Tropic of Cancer, that's what coloration means. That's why you could see a nigga that's chinky-eyed, dark skin, or a nigga that's chinky-eyed and pale, or a nigga with big eyes.
But how do you explain those white? Hey, how do you explain those? Hey, wait. How do you explain those white-looking Dominicans though? Like they look like straight German
Spaniards.
I'm talking about
okay. How is that?
That's what I'm talking about right now. So you have people who live in the equator. If they live on the equator belt, right? The equator belt is where all the people who are brewed there for more than 4 generations tend to be darker, but they could still have the same color, phonetics or the phenotype. So the phenotype is what really indicates a race. For example, Indian people could be darker than me, right? But they're the same kind of people racially as the Irish. You feel me? Now, if you want to look for some practical evidence of that, if you want to look for some kind of practical evidence of that, go look up Indian albino on Google.
I'm sorry,
Indian albino, Indian person, right? You Google an albino Indian person, and what you gonna get? Average Irish person.
You gonna get what?
Average Irish person.
Okay.
Yeah.
The average Irish person is gonna look like an Indian albino. It's really not the big difference between those type of people. So I'm just trying to draw a contrast, because one of the things is with a society like America, we tend to mix and blur what initially is a race. A race was never about coloration, but more so bone structure and phenotype, right?
Yeah.
Over time, it got mixed up through linguistics and all these different and the merger of different cultures coming together, trying to redefine or explain things. But race was originally, there's really 3 races on the planet: the Mongoloids, the Caucasoids, and the Negroids.
Now this is all appearance, right? What you're describing is appearance, correct?
Right. Race was never really
Okay.
coloration. Coloration became a thing, and it's primary an American thing if you really pay attention.
Which
Right?
do
I
you
had
think
the
is more
opportunity.
important? Let me ask you. Let
It,
me
it,
ask you this:
the
which do you
United
think
States
is more
of
important,
America thing.
the race or the culture?
What's more important? Because okay, let's just redefine. Let's not redefine, but let's define race amongst us so that we have a core of understanding when we talk. Right? So
Yes, sir.
race is a body of genetic constructs that can be readily identified with with the five senses of humanity.
Okay.
So it's not the
Okay.
absolute. You get what I'm saying? But it's more
Yeah.
like it's like saying, hey, here are those gene patterns, and we can see and we can feel and we can see it or vibe with it immediately. Like, oh, that guy's
All
light
right.
skinned, his eyes is big, right? So it's like a packet of data that's readily placed in something. Like how you might have an operating system, right? One might be
Yes,
Windows,
sir.
one might be Lion, and so on and so forth, and one might be Linux, one might be Ubuntu or whatever, right? So a
Yeah.
race is just a packet of data that can be readily understood by the average layman without it having to be going into like genetic numbers and codes and all that other shit, right? So when I look at you, I see a
Okay.
mix. You get what I'm saying? Just through
Yeah. Yeah.
quick,
Yeah.
quick, readily rapid, right? When I look at the guy on the bottom over here on my who would be on my right side of the screen, the brother with the dread, will see a negroid, right? You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So race is these things that it is part of linguistics, which is just identifying factors within the spiritual or the
Yeah.
animating
Because
controlling
I
system
want to make it. I
of
want to
communication.
please. If there's anything I would love for you to understand from this
Hmm.
entire conversation is that I will be willing to admit that you're using terms that I'm not too acquainted with. I am pretty,
Right.
I'm no dummy. I know that, but at the same time, that's why I'm asking these poignant questions,
But
or
that's
at
why
least it
that's
seems
why I want to
very
drop it down
poignant to
to the
me to be
biological.
asking like which is more important, it and as a general question, as one human
Mhm.
being should ask to another, which is more important,
So when
culture
I say yes,
or
race
color?
would be more important when you having the conversation to try to base when you're talking about collectivity and right collectivity when we're trying to talk about large groups of people, then yeah, race can be an important part of communication because remember we're living in a constant, tangible spiritual reality. It's constantly tangible, but it's also constantly spiritual. Meaning, we're always trying to grasp. We're talking from experience and memory. When humans communicate, it's always experience and memory, right? But in order to convey a message to, because it's just God, there's only one being that exists using multiple embodiments, right? To basically
Yeah,
convey information from one part of its body to the other part of its body. So all
that
of us
makes
are like
sense
neurons.
because that's the way demons are described as attacking. They attack in
Right.
legion, for they
So
are
if you
many.
want to say
So yeah,
demons, we can use
is that a sensible analogy or?
yeah. Because
Yeah, okay.
everything is sensible because all things are within senses. You can't even have a conversation without sensory. So everything is right as long as you know how to put it together. Even somebody's lie is the truth if you know how to put it together. You get what I'm saying? So now the
Yeah,
sensory,
that's why I
the
would be
when
able
you
to
say
talk to you
demon,
without even using words.
yeah. Let me show you how easy it is to break down too, so
Yeah.
you can't even be fooled by bullshit. You see how you say demon? What does the word demon sound like?
Oh, a
Demand.
lot of words. Oh,
Demand.
okay.
Think of it so simple. A demand, right? Something
Yes.
that wants to compel you into action. You see what I'm saying? So when you can literally think of demons, and then you can break it down also as the man, right? So like you could break it down into something that compels you into action, a man who's trying to compel you into action, a man who has a particular agenda to make you move a certain way is a demon. You get what I'm saying? A demon ain't nothing
Yeah,
but basically
it's evil and acting. So
calcified
you would
humanity.
believe that there's an unseen force, or there are unseen forces that we battle
It's all seen
from day
and
to day.
unseen. It's
Beautiful, man.
all seen. You could see this shit. You could see this shit. You see what I'm
Absolutely,
saying?
absolutely.
Like
Especially, you know
I could
what?
be
And
perceived as a demon for someone right now simply based on the fact that I have demands on your brain to perceive things in a way that I'm trying to put forth to you. You get what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
demon right now.
I wouldn't go so far as to demonize
Well, that's when you
yourself
add semantics to it. When you
for
add
carrying an
semantics, you
idea.
wouldn't go so far.
If you're adding an idea that's contrary to people being happy, if you're contributing to an idea uh, that inflicts sadness upon people or hurt upon people, that would be one thing. But I can feel your struggle to
But you
put
remember,
all your senses out to
someone
realize
who
the
wants
world around you.
mhm. someone who wants to remain in a world where they could say there's an unseen, right? And they don't want to find validation for the things that's thought about, right? Can in
Yeah.
reality perceive me like a demon, like an imam who's really strong within the Islamic culture, or a super Christian who's like Anglican, Anglo-Saxon, or some sort of like sort of like a Protestant type of Christian person, a old Baptist type of
I
character in the Christian denomination, right?
Oh yeah,
They will be like, man,
yeah.
you're talking blasphemy. They don't know that I sat down and read the Bible and I decided to take word for word and define it and then look at what's theology versus what's science, like they don't know that I actually
Well,
was a student in
I
this thing
I don't
before.
know. Like take for instance, my mom. She had her master's in religious teaching. She was a
Hmm.
teacher for catechism at my private school. Okay, yes, I went to a private school. I was very blessed as far as life is concerned. My folks came from nothing, and they built a fantastic bubble around me. Automatic push button water to riding a taxi to school every day. And my mom taught
Yeah.
catechism at this Catholic school. And the Catholic school taught me a whole lot as far as their charity. There were seven kids that I went to school with from one family, it was a Mexican family, that got
Hmm.
tuition assistance to make sure that I mean, like, if you go on my Facebook and Jackie here can please introduce us. You'll see the graduating class I went with, and there's like I'd say 40%, maybe 50% of them were white. The rest were a blend of everything, man, from Filipino to Mexican to Italian, Portuguese. Oh my gosh, there's so many Portuguese people there. I know a little bit of Portuguese speaking of, and it's one of the biggest things I'm actually really proud of, simply because uh, of being a part and being lucky enough to uh, to graduate from something like that and having folks that can provide it for me. And with that being said, um, I have to mention it because the the constant conversations that we would have as far as temptation was concerned. Like Catholics try not to sin by figuring out what we're tempted to do. So instead of going
Right.
to the confessional and confessing about what you did, you're confessing about what you're thinking about doing. And you can have a guilty conscience that you're faced with your own mirrored guilty conscience, so to speak. And
Hmm.
that's how we put feelers out for the unseen, for the unseen evils
Right.
and the demons that you just mentioned before. And whether they're in people temporarily or not, how fast they go. I mean, it's um,
But remember what I
like
said,
that stuff.
and
Back to the
mhm.
conspiracy theories that's happening, like right now,
Yeah, right.
or just happened within the past couple of 2 years. COVID comes out, right? And we're like 2 weeks in. It's all it's going to take. Let it blow by. It turned into 2 years, and um, we're all trying to be careful. And then something, because I was living in California when it fucking happened. I saw it for the first time, and
Yo,
like right before my eyes. It was Rodney King all over again. Only it was George
yeah,
Floyd. But we're in the middle of a pandemic, and you have this moment that requires a voice and requires amplification, requires unity, requires notification to the public. It it's not stifled at all. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and people are congregating with each other to do this passionate vocalization of what's taking place and what's taking place over and over again.
Well, you want me
But
to tell
it's
you something that I understand about life, and I don't mean to cut you off.
do
I
you
also
understand
want
that
the other.
contrast that I'm seeing
Yeah,
though, man? It's
yeah.
like how in the world did they
In a
you got your
nutshell,
grandmother to
I'm gonna
worry
tell you
about.
something. So the planet is a life form in itself, right? And just like your
Huh?
body goes through purges and cleanses, that's what happens. So these people sometimes we might say are the elite, and they're doing evil to try to kill off everybody. Believe it or not, that shit is a natural factor of humanity. Sometimes when, and again, it goes back to this thing where I believe, and I'm gonna say I believe because I gotta speak for myself. I can't dump that on everybody else. But part of why the pandemic happened was to allow silly people to reveal themselves to the conscious mind and those who are actually aware, self-aware, constantly creating thoughts, and like the people who really think, right? And that's to make us aware of who's around us and to create labels and constructs. Because
Never
again,
thought of it like that.
part of existence is
Never thought of it.
constant linguistics. Language in itself
No, no. I mean,
is
like, yeah. Why not
energy,
rig it up? Why not rig it up to where
right?
people survive? Just get them scared enough
So, and then the
to
other thing
start
is
moving.
it's like a chafing. It's like a chafing. We're trying to chop off people who are stupid. They need to die. They need to put experimental stuff in them because we also need to experiment too. The scientists need bodies to experiment on. So for the betterment of all of us, believe it or not. And
Yeah, but
yeah,
who do
maybe
we
we
need to
might
choose
have
whose
robotic
bodies
bodies,
they are, though?
and maybe we might put robots and chips in our minds. But it's the strongest will. You see what I'm saying? The strongest will survive, and also utilize everything is utilitarian. Like you see how we have this great technology where different minds can come together from far different regions. This is the
Yeah.
crystal ball that used to be utilized in times when we use a different type of energy matrix. It's the same thing happening over in a different era, which is now a smartphone, right? I could sit here on my smartphone while maybe you might sit there with your camera or whatever your computer camera. But we doing the same thing as wizards and warlocks when those type of terminologies is utilized. You see what I'm saying?
That's
So
it's scary.
so
That's fucking
so
scary. Yeah,
so you got to
that's a
realize
fact.
that
Yeah.
some of these people gonna have to die. And for example, I always tell people this, man. When people be sitting there, oh, the war and wars happening. Listen, people who go to war, whether they sign up for a check so they can pay their bills or whatever it is, these people want to be where they are. Everybody wants to be where they are at heart. Period. So when people die during warfare, maybe a few thousands or whatever the fuck it may be, the numbers go up or whatever the tally is. I get smarter. That's something I've been noticing since I was a teenager. If 1,000 people die right now, my nigga, I become a genius. Like whatever those 1,000 people was holding on to, it gets released in the atmosphere, and I get access to it. So one of the things you got to realize is people belong where they are. Everything that's happening is deserved upon the body that encounters that situation. And your observation, it becomes a lesson for you, a mathematics for you, an imprint on you, the living. You see what I'm saying? This is why we have scriptures and Bibles for different eras. Yo, God, go ahead, Chris. I see Uncle Jackie. He building up this chime in, man.
No,
So
no, you good. You
I
good,
think we've
bro.
been going. Yeah, yeah. What's the God DOC? You got anything to chime in? Because I think
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to be speaking up.
Yeah.
I'm listening. I'm chiming in on because I'm absorbing a lot of things that you saying. Because you coming at a different directive from it. You know what I mean? And I'm liking it. And I'm looking at trying to look and absorb and take it all in. But and so is moves coming. Encounter with some stuff too. But we're saying that everybody's where it's supposed to be at. I don't think that that's really factual because like you said, people probably go there for let's go for war, for instance. You know what I mean? People sign up for a check. You know what I mean? No one figured they're gonna go to war within their time or service or that nature. So if I
Okay.
sign up for a check for 4 years, now through the grace of the universe, now the universe may want to test me now, since we're talking about how the universe moves. Now the universe may
Right.
want to test me because I put myself there. You understand? But at heart,
Right.
I really don't want to be there. You understand? But now
So
I'm gonna have to put. Go ahead. What you saying? So you
may
got.
I be allowed to counterbalance the statement that you said, where somebody might sign up for a check, but they're not. They might not want to be at war. Here's the thing: when you sign up for the check, you know that is a possibility, right?
Yep.
So the fact that you are aware that that's a possibility means
So
that you sign up for the possibility,
okay, so
right?
that's what I'm saying. So the universe is
So
testing me now. So that's what I'm trying to say. Universe is testing me now because I signed up and put myself there. You understand? So
right,
now,
but now that's also hinging on other factors. For example, the universe might be testing you, but it's not the universe testing you. You place yourself in a position to be tested, knowing that that particular type of test is a possibility. In other words, if you sign up for the military, what does the military entail? Training for killing, right? You've seen move. They done not only that, they already prepped you to understand what the military might be at through entertainment, through just dictionaries. They have a dictionary that defines the word military. You probably read that word somewhere in school somewhere, right? Not only that, you have to come to an agreement within yourself to even sign that contract way before. See, one of the things that humans have the ability to do is not be totally honest about what's going on in their mind, and they can use social perceptions to play on. Well, I was just a fucking innocent man just trying to fucking live, and so I signed a contract. Nigga, you signed a contract, you completely know what the fuck was coming in
nah,
next.
but you know
You
what?
completely
Yeah.
know.
Again,
You completely know that you could be sent to
if you
war to
ain't
kill
raised,
people, innocent children, women got arms and all that.
if you ain't raised not knowing
And you
what
know
the
you can lose a leg too.
now you can say movies is out there showing you this, that, and the third. But if you growing up back in the 80s, 90s, and you don't really know what military is, and if you didn't have a mother telling you like, yo, listen, or even you know what really do a solid rocker on me about military was Boys in the Hood. I think it was Boys Out, not Boys in the Hood, yeah, Boys in the Hood. Or someone said that there's no place for a black man in the military. You understand? And that still would be heavy. Watching Glory, growing up,
Oh
also
shit, yeah.
put an aspect of how they treat us in the army. You understand? And how our demeanor as a human being may want to give it our all and our best. You understand? And want to be the man or want to be the person. You just be the person. You know what I mean? Just be the person. You know what I mean? Because we human beings, we
So
competitive.
I would say if somebody signs up for the military and there's no spiritual uh, accommodation for accountability within that person's soul, then they might just be an inbred that's locked into a series of behaviors that they just can't outwit, and it's their time to go and perish and be utilized by smarter people who aren't inbred to utilize them for energy, because that's how the world works. Right?
Hey,
In other words, like you can sit
if I can
here and
interject,
whine about how
I agree with
black
that.
people was abused by white people, but chances are, if you do a direct investigation, if you had the technology to and the investigative power to, you would find all types of extra details that's not going to be in the semantics. The semantics is like, oh, we were innocent and oh, they came and they enslaved us. But the actual investigation would lead you to study, oh shit, this nigga had a mother and a father, they weren't together, right? The men in the community weren't really there. They were busy doing some other shit. The females were sort of like in control, and these other men needed resources for something that they had to, that they were. It was imperative for their particular structure and their social order, and so they were vulnerable enough to be able to be captured and then to be put in boats or whatever the fucking story is. You get what I'm saying? In other words,
yeah,
there's no way in hell you can't prove that whatever happens to somebody, even a child, is not deserved. Because what is a child? A child is is basically the reincarnation of the parent. So if the parent wasn't all put together, then somebody who is dominant and has power can come and take and capture that child. You get what I'm saying? And do what they want with that child, who is the reincarnation of the lazy parent or the absent parent or the not too well or put together ordered parent. You get what I'm saying? Mentally constructed parent. So again, there really leaves no excuse to say people are suffering innocently. Innocently is just a semantic terminology placed on something where ignorance is there within that embodiment we're trying to convey a message.
Absolutely. You know what, dude? I was going off onto like I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, maybe I'm not feeling what Source is saying, but at the same time, that last part right there,
Yeah. The last
in the Catholic religion, I'll tell you this right now: there's no fucking innocent people. There's none. There's none whatsoever. Everybody's guilty, and nobody deserves a goddamn thing except for what they work for. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. What you want to create is up to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I'm
Like
gonna use
I
human
think that
experience. This is why I love to talk about my experience and how my experience you with the utilization of the language you're speaking, the definition of the words. My experience. I'm gonna tell you how uh, the character we know as Uncle Jackie basically impart his existence into my experience. Right. So I used to be young, living in a group home, as you know, and I used to run my mouth. I was the thing is about me. I didn't have fear of things, right? Because I had a semi decent existence in the prior years of my existence. I lived in the Caribbean with grandparents who had access to all kinds of knowledge and information. And then I came, and my mom's was kind of like idle, and she just she was reckless more so than because she came to America and had a freedom that she never had in the Caribbean under supervision, right? So when I came back to America to live with her, she just was letting me do whatever I want and sort of kind of like she didn't have a structure for me. She just took me back so she could prove to people that she was ready to be a mother, but she really wasn't, right? So I ended up in a group home, long story short, and I was fearlessly diving into problematic. I was smart in my mind, had intellectual knowledge, and I wasn't a coward naturally because of how my grandfather groomed me. But I would have been, I couldn't fight. Like I didn't have no hand skills or nothing. I was just fucking with people, and basically I ran into, the guard Uncle Jackie, and in his own words, it was like, man, you need to learn how to fight, man. You need to like take fighting serious. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So as much as I could sit here and say, well, I was scared of people, and I would go to jail, get my ass jumped and beat up, lumps and shit, all types of stupid shit. Had to go and have be in a hospital and stuff, and I'll come back and fuck with the same people. You know what I mean? Like I deserve every last bit of that. But once I learned that hey, as much as you're not scared of people, you got to learn how to defend yourself so that you could
yes,
implement
I
your power.
agree.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh my
like
god.
that's
All
one
right,
thing.
I'm telling. Like,
That's why
let me drop something, dude. I'm telling. Let me share this,
he was a
please.
boxing ass
Let me
nigga,
come
and he
on.
put that on me.
No, but check this out, man. Here's the opposite end of that spectrum, bro. Because there's
Mhm.
that balance you're talking about. Here's that balance, okay?
Yeah.
Like I told you, a privileged life. I went to Catholic school, blah blah blah. But before I went there,
Mhm.
I went to school in Milpitas, right next to the corner, right on the border of Milpitas and San Jose, California. This is long before it turned
Mhm.
into Silicon Valley. This is rural area, urban area, and I was one of four kids in an all black Mexican and believe it or not Vietnamese school. There was a lot of black Mexican Vietnamese, right? And
Mhm.
my folks were role models. Like I said, the opposite. This is the opposite end of the spectrum, right? So, like, hear me out for a second, because I'm hesitant to even mention it because out of respect for what you've gone through in life. All right, but
Mhm.
I'm prompted to share this with you right now because this pertains to that opposite end of the spectrum, that energy that you're talking about, this polarization that you're
Mhm.
talking about. I am listening to you and I am paying attention. This is how I'm going to say it. All right, so um, before I went to Catholic school, I went to school in San Jose and Milpitas, and when I got to school, since my parents didn't curse at the house at all, they didn't drink, they didn't do any drugs in any way, shape, or form. I could set my watch to my father every night. At 5:30, he would pull up in the driveway, and or at 5:28, he would pull in front of the house, and by 5:30, he had parked his truck, backed it up a couple of times to make sure it was straight, then walked straight into the house. Like I said, dependability like there's no tomorrow. Excellent role model when it came down to showing me right from wrong, and I didn't want for anything. If I needed to learn how to ride a bike, he bought a bike. But that my folks were really good at the grind, and they saved up their money really fucking fast, and so that they could provide for me and my brother. Now, that being said, I got my ass kicked every fucking day by Bloods and Crips kids every day. They could tell somehow, some way, maybe because I didn't know how to curse or some shit. Because my brother and I, we didn't curse. I mean, man, a mouthful of soap or a backhand to the fucking face, or and it was a very, very
Shit.
fucking strict discipline, like there was no tomorrow. We were not allowed to curse until we were 18 and under our own roofs. We could only curse. We could not curse even if we were 18 in mom and pop's house. Okay. Here's another standard that we had too. Another standard was you tell all the bad news to the old man, and you tell all the good news to mom. You don't tell mom any bad fucking news. You got into a fight, you busted the guy's face, and shit like that. You always told mom nice things. Let dad handle the bad things. He knows how to do that shit, you know. And maybe he has to talk with mom, but 9 times out of 10, you know, if there's some discipline that has to take place, he's going to want to do it in the first place. And it's like waking him up from a nap. You know, all hell breaks loose if you do get in trouble. So anyhow, this is the upbringing I'm coming with, and like there's no, you know, me getting jumped on the way home or some shit like that, man. I was getting jumped at fucking recess and then lunch. I get jumped at fucking the last break that we had. I had a black teacher. Okay, this is one of the examples of the balance, mind you. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. This black teacher would allow these kids, Mr. Brown. He would allow these kids to make fun of me in class. Yeah, no, he'd allow me to make fun of me in class, and he wouldn't let me go to the bathroom. I mean, it was horrible shit, dude. These kids would take my lunch money, the whole bully thing, right? The whole story. And now going back to what you were saying about defending yourself, this is what proves at another point what you were trying to make as well. I think I'm feeling that too. So my mom introduced me to one of her project managers that worked for her, and he was connected to the mob back in the friggin' 50s and 60s. And since my dad wouldn't teach me how to fight, and the fucker he wrestled Greco-Roman in college. You know, he could have shown me some takedown moves or something. Anyhow, he didn't want to show me anything. But the reason why I got introduced to my friend Tony was my dad caught me with a razor blade. He saw me fiddling around. This is 3rd fucking grade. He saw me fiddling around in my pocket while we were waiting at school at the bus stop. The bus picked me up. He said, "What do you got in your pocket?" I said, "Nothing." "What do you got in your pocket?" So I pull out this razor blade, and I didn't know measure the degree or anything like that, right? So, like, you know, I didn't know that was kind of going way the fuck overboard. So my dad thought he had a psychopath for a kid, and it was far from it. I was just fed up from getting my ass kicked. I just wanted to fight back somehow.
Right.
And so my mom, like, you know, he was strict. My dad was strictly against it. He saw liability, like there's no tomorrow. Somebody doing the fuck out of him. And my mom was fed up with it, so she introduced me to Tony, and he's the one who taught me everything from throwing a jab to fish hooking, biting, whatever you can fucking grab and bite, to cheating. I mean, it's not cheating. I mean, you're fighting for your life when somebody.
All is fair in love and war.
You know, when it comes down to it, all is fair in love and fucking war. Amen. And but you got to have some equilibrium there. You know, you can't go from one extreme to another because they're varying degrees. If you overpower a motherfucker, like, okay, yeah, conspiracy theory. If you're big like Will Smith and you walk up on stage and you slap the shit out of fucking Chris Rock, and you have the ability to turn around and not even worry about Chris Rock fucking, you know, doing anything, you got no business slapping Chris Rock in the first place. Okay,
I never agree with bullying. That bully shit gets you killed.
Exactly, man. That's why we have weight divisions in sports, because we have men that can absolutely fucking destroy one another. And with one punch, you know, your skull is crushed. That's it. There's no pass go. All I had to do is cradle your head in his fucking fat palm and just smash. You know, there are those degrees, but anyhow, I learned how to defend myself.
So, and this is why I learned that this is how, you know, some of these things, these experiences will give me the psychosis that I have right now to see things the way I do. Like, using Uncle Jackie as an example, right, of how my psychosis is chiseled, is that what I learned from just observing him was that he was the most masterful person as far as fighting was concerned. Because in other words, he actually was trained at some point in time in his life, and he had boxing discipline, and he know how to actually just hit your jaw, knock you out, or, you know, just hit certain places of your body or whatever, because that was just something maybe he got from his own lifestyle. Plus, he also lived in a group home, so I'm pretty sure he had his own tussles and shit like that before he met me. And what I realized is that the strongest people don't be the fight starting people. It be the people who don't really, like, know how to fight. And I had to realize that I was that guy. like I was intelligent and I wasn't scared of people, so I would fuck with people, right? There was this one kid, another kid who was, I guess, in his age range that would fight. I would literally start shit with every now and then because just disagreement over shit. But the kid was naturally bigger than me and wouldn't mind just punching me in my face or whatever. But I would keep fucking with him over and over and over. And then basically, dude told me how, hey man, you gotta put your hands up, guard your face, certain shit like that. And he just put like a spirit in me of self defense, like that Matrix. Because I had it to some degree, but the technique and the reality of it never really, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and plus I'm somebody that can make friends anyway, so not for nothing, I'm not going to front. I've been in maybe 10, 20 group homes before that particular group home, which was my last group home that I met Uncle Jackson. And I was like somebody that can't stay two places because I was too smart for my own bridges or whatever. And I was, and I would get people to like fight with me and shit like that. So, but in this particular group home, everybody was older than me and was getting ready to age out and shit like that, right? So there wasn't no manipulating these niggas and getting them to like fight and tussle with me, and so I was hiding in the crowd. But when I met Uncle Jackie, I had to learn how to actually just really just shuffle up and get down and shit, right? You know what I'm saying? So I always thank the brother for that personally. I know I don't communicate with him all the time, and birthday parties and years have passed sometimes, but I just always want to thank him for that personally, because that got me through a lot of issues, and I've advanced it to the point where I'm hanging out with people. I'm a corner man who's winning fucking Golden Gloves and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? With my experience. So it's like I'm always grateful for that. But the point that I'm making in this particular conversation is that when you don't learn how to evolve and advance yourself, anything that happens to you is well deserved. Every fucking time somebody punched me in my face, made me bleed, bust my nose up, I deserve that shit because I didn't sit down and do the due diligence, which is if you're going to be jumping into warfare and shit like that, you need to understand the entirety of the contract of what you're getting involved with.
You look at the common denominator of it,
if you sign a military contract and all of a sudden you come back, your leg is broken and the war was fake and the politics led you whatever, you are a pawn in a scheme of information that needs to go to the wiser.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you got enslaved, your kids got enslaved for generations, guess what? That's what the fuck you and your kids deserve, because there are people that have a calling to be that pawn, whether they be the truck driver of a water carrying tank to a refueling truck, or just the guy who wanders through a landing strip to make sure all the little pieces of metal and stuff are off the landing strip, so planes tires don't pop when they take off. There's the smallest guy in the military, and then there's you got your. I'm very hesitant to name like some people go to the military and they become nervous, but right. But to a certain level of degree, kind of look down upon them as pawns. A lot of them will sit there and tell you straight. We're putting semantics into it, and then we're having sort of like emotional discharge about what we perceive it. But ultimately, the universe does not deal with imbalance. Imbalance is just a perception, but it's not an emotional issue. But what I'm arguing is that it's not an emotional. What do you say? Discharge? Yeah, it's not an emotional discharge. It is actual. And you mentioned this word earlier tonight. It was intrinsic, having to do where you put an intrinsic value on something where it's not. It's something that's tangible. Like this lighter, I have an intrinsic value to it because I want to go wherever I want to be able to, since we created fire billions of years ago, and it should be no reason right now that me as a man here and now in 2024 shouldn't be able to create fire. It's a very simple but necessary type of thing, right? And I guess what I'm saying is that no matter what simple the purpose is, people who join the military
either need to find that connection, that intrinsic value, or they end up finding that intrinsic value, or knew that intrinsic value was
that's
always
one layer of it,
there.
right? That's one layer of the reality of it, right?
No,
But we
no,
have to admit,
it's not. No, it's not one layer. I'll correct you. It is not one layer at all. That is a multifaceted detail that has
but
been
see, me and you are having,
that broad strokes a
me and
lot of
you,
facets, bro.
me and you are two partitions of an entity discussing those particular people or the phenomenon of those people, right? So because we're discussing the phenomenon of those people, we have the ability, and not only the ability, but the right to say, hey, these are layers, because we can pull apart all the different facts of their particular situation. Because it's not us. We're sitting here having that conversation about whoever they are. You feel me? So when we get caught up in the emotions, then it's like we're staying on one level, but there's many levels.
But why, if it's painfully obvious, to touch what Doc was talking about earlier today, or earlier tonight, he was talking about, he mentioned Gory, okay? Now, Gory came out when I was a kid, and I was an impressionable youth. If my folks were racist, they would have never let me watch that film ever. I don't think they would have let me watch Roots. I don't think they would have let me watch a lot of entertainment that was put out there to either make people aware or show black creativity.
I don't even think Roots was making people aware. I think Roots was just dumbing people down, because Roots, one of the big things, I believe Roots is a conspiracy.
I completely disagree, because what was happening in Roots, it wasn't being taught in my school. It wasn't, the apartheid didn't come until much later when it came down.
Taught in your school because it wasn't 100% accurate. It was probably bullshit.
Well, my teachers didn't know what the details were, especially when it came down to the Thanksgiving. You think I got the right Thanksgiving story either? You know, everybody got met and everybody got along. And
here's the thing, bro. All our mothers be lying to us about our dads, right? Just on average.
No.
Right?
No, not my mom.
On average, our mothers will lie to us about our dads. And when I say, well, I don't necessarily mean you particularly or me particularly, right? But on average, the most men you know, right, their mothers aren't telling their kids the truth about their dads if their dads aren't in their lives 100%. Or if he's a hardworking person and he was always absent, or he was just like allegedly a deadbeat, right? You don't probably relate to that personally, right?
Yeah.
But
I don't have an opinion. I don't have an opinion on it. This is where.
Who else in the chat? Who else in the group here that has information that they believe or that they come to realize as they become men that wasn't necessarily validated by whatever their mothers were saying? I'm pretty sure at least two people.
Oh,
right. On this particular
conspiracy theory, I'm calling one.
At least two.
I'm calling conspiracy theory right here.
Your mama.
Because I know.
I'm just saying, if the average mama. Using black people as an example, right? If the average mama, right, is not telling their sons the truth about their dads and what really conspired, what really went down, why as to validate why their fathers aren't in their lives, what makes you think the school system, strangers, political bodies, grew Negroes, educated Negroes, uneducated Negroes who got all these mediums to talk about our past is even accurate? Also, what could be considered slavery could have been indentured. What could be indentured could have been really slavery, right? Also, just think about your own life right now and what you know as a man. Can I go and kidnap 5 people and just put them somewhere and make them work for me? On average, if
I went to Libya, I could. If I went to Libya, I could, because that's exactly what they do. They buy and sell they buy and sell men. Look it up, homie.
Okay, but here's
over 40 million slaves right now. There are over 40 million slaves right now in the world. There are more slaves in this world right now. And right now, there are more slaves. I'll say it softly. I'll calm down. There are more slaves right now in the world than there ever was in all time. Right now, and there are no voices saying anything about it. Right now, there are 40,000 kids right now.
All right, if me and you was living 200 years ago, you would utilize the same argument. You know why you would utilize the same argument? Because nothing about humanity ever changes except the faces and the bodies.
But it's not now. It's not the
So if
information age.
if we was
It's not,
alive 200 years ago, you'd be saying the same thing. And the point
it
that I'm
wasn't the
making is this,
information
right?
age. It wasn't. Look, you can educate the world within 30 seconds. Now you can.
Let me
That's
just
the
say
difference,
this.
bro.
Don't mean to cut both of you. Don't mean to cut you off, move. But let me just say
Yeah.
this. Okay, I still like to go back to I could agree to certain aspect and certain points with you, source about saying everything happens because you deserve it. You understand? But in a sense, you can't say that, bro. Because if God forbid, okay, say I invented a way to take gasoline, turn water into fuel. You understand? And,
Mm-hmm.
and it has been done by two or three people. You understand? And the two or three people
Mm-hmm.
that created that is no longer on the earth. You understand? So when you get to a
Right.
certain point and you preach a certain aspect of truth, if the entities don't want you to succeed, then
Right.
you vanish. You
Okay,
understand?
so you already acknowledged what I'm saying in your own conversation, what you just said, because here's the deal. You live in a world where you're aware that people who invent things that can serve mankind get killed, right? So why the fuck did you put the information out before you actually build a camaraderie with people who can protect you?
Well, where you going to build a camaraderie of
No,
people
I'm
that's
just
going
saying, like, why would you sit there
I
and
mean,
knowing if you could turn water into gasoline or some crazy shit like that? Like, this is why I don't even try to be famous. I'm really intelligent. You know how much weapons I could make up right now at the tip of my tongue just by thinking about it? But I'm not gonna sit there and try to even copyright shit or none of that shit. Because what's the
it's not
point in doing
about
that when
that.
I know I don't have a group of niggas that really believe in me to the point where they'll just like go all out to protect me. So I'm just gonna live a simple life. Sometimes you got to stop jumping the gun and stop trying to be famous. One of the things about us is that we try to always be the face of God immediately. And when you try to do that without thinking strategically, that's when you deserve to die.
But
And this
that's
is the
something
point of why I brought up. This is
everybody
why
don't
the
reach
point
for
I brought up.
fame. Everybody don't reach
I
for
brought up
fame.
why.
Everybody, if I'm trying to make the world better, you understand, in my community, you understand, and I started out in
You
my
still
community.
have to make
I'm
you
not
better.
talking about
You
community
have to make you better first.
not that I want to
Yeah.
exceed from what I'm doing. You
You're
understand?
trying
But
to,
to help
yeah,
the
you're
world
exceeding
and
your own, you're exceeding you're exceeding your own capabilities. If you don't have absolute capability to protect your existence and you are the person who's emanating this cure for the planet, then you've done a half-assed job. In other words, you can't put the cure out without putting out a legion of people who understand your value that will keep you alive.
But even if you have a
That's
whole,
part of the
even if you
system.
have
You
a
got
whole
to have a
legion of
defense
people, hold
mechanism.
on, I understand what you're saying. Even if you have a whole legion of people with you, you still gonna have infiltrators that are gonna come in there and gonna go. You're gonna get demolished. You understand? Regardless of how
Again, you got to have a
you
system
understand.
for infiltrators too,
Yeah, yeah, but just to kind of
because you're
show
aware.
an
You have enough
old
knowledge to
school
know
value.
they
Wait,
exist.
wait.
If you
Just
have enough
to
knowledge to
show an
know
old
they
school
exist, then you
value.
have to have
Hey,
the will to put
I
it
just
out
wanted
there.
to kind
Hmm.
of, I kind of wanted to interject. Like this is one
Hmm.
of the things that kind of disappointed me. Really growing up and seeing a lot of the conspiracies, not the
Hmm.
conspiracies, where they end up being truths. Um, and you find out, the people that actually conspired all of this bullshit were the ones who created the word conspiracy in the first place.
Hmm.
And it's it's really disturbing because like I go to school and I get taught about MLK and just a dash, because Malcolm X was questionable back in the day to even read about. His book was rarely found in the library. But you could find it, but nevertheless, it wasn't really where it was supposed to be. It was somebody would always hide it. It was really kind of fucked up. But anyway, uh, we heard the message of MLK. Um, my mom was one of the only four white kids in all black school in Long Beach
Hmm.
and in Oakland. And so when I was raised, like I said, we weren't allowed to curse at all. If you mentioned you didn't even get to the G part before you got slapped, and you got put in their place. He was there during the Watts riots when the dogs, the brakes were thrown, the fire hoses, the whole 9 yards. Um, and the thing is that like, and so here, my mom is a testament, and she's not the only testament, but she's my only connection to those experiences, other than seeing occasional anniversary of his birthday or recognition of that slavery did take place. Rosa Parks to Underground Railroad, etc. But the basic Black history. I didn't even learn about um, the Black Wall Street until about 10 years ago, which is like shameful actually. But at the same time, I became more and more aware as time passed. And here's what I'm disappointed about. I feel like um, I feel like we failed MLK to a certain level of degree. There's a speech that's called that he said, and not really many people know about it. It's called "To Serve." You just type in YouTube here MLK to TO and "To Serve." If you want to be important, wonderful. If you want to be great, wonderful. If you want to be recognized, wonderful. But recognize he that is greatest among you shall be your servant. Now, he didn't say whatever color servant or whatever shape of servant, whatever height of servant, whatever. He just said servant, right? And this word, yeah, a lot of his biblical influence in that speech comes out. And it got me to thinking that, I can listen to that speech every day, and I did, especially when I lived in Harlem. And, it allowed me to connect with my surroundings in a place that I wasn't brought up. And it heightened my senses to where I could pay attention to my surroundings and realize that, me, this fucking working stiff, I came from a lot of, a lot of privilege and a lot of, not so much privilege, but just a lot of blessings. And I was constantly reminded of those blessings, and even in being reminded of those blessings, I only succeeded so far. Rather than if somebody else been handed those particular skills, they would have died for them because they would have known exactly what to do with them, when to do with them, and what direction they would have gone. So, in that regard, yeah, I take responsibility for fucking a lot of that up. But that being said, man, the reason why I feel like that we failed MFK is like there are no more movies like Glory. Glory like let you know that over 400,000 white men lost their lives to change them to enforce the Emancipation Proclamation, to start to be the first country to stop slavery in its tracks, or at least slow it down to a certain level of degree. Now, the bankers in the world, we'll go back to conspiracy theory. The bankers in the world owners, the bankers and the world owners and that kind of stuff, they are they wanted to get into the minds of the taxpayers. That's why they created the tax and the whole nine yards. But the thing is that MLK's message was so loud and clear as far as bringing things together, and all of a sudden, this all too well timed plot was concocted to lead us all against each other.
And I say,
there is no balance.
This is why I say, like when you're talking about Dr. Martin Luther King's dream, like all of the children playing together and the nation rising and so on and so forth, that can only be achieved through biological measures. That cannot be achieved through political measures. It's like, put it like this, right? If I'm a white man and we having the history, the cultural history, and the cultural understanding of what we have in America, and I'm a black man and we both have families, both of our children we making children with other people in the same racial construct. Now, say I move in a black neighborhood, there's going to be a term for that, something called gentrification. And the more I make babies in the black neighborhood, is the more I become like a virus or even a parasite, depending on if I open a business or something, right? If I'm a Chinese person, I come in a black neighborhood, then I'm going to be automatically viewed as a parasite because I'm taken from your neighborhood, but I'm making Chinese children, only mating with Chinese people, and then teaching my children to only do the same, right? If I'm white, then it's called gentrification. If I'm black, then it's called we fucking up your neighborhood, bringing down the mortgage rate, bringing down the value of your neighborhood and all that shit. You get what I'm saying? I'm trying to put it in
Yeah.
simple terms that is already readily available.
Yeah.
We don't need to be playing all this stupid shit with each other and talking politics.
How does
Ultimately,
a
the
successful?
only way Martin Luther King's the reason why it seemed like it was a burning house is because niggas was moving in white neighborhoods, buying houses, thinking that was an achievement, and still mating with niggas. White people was moving into black neighborhoods and still mating with white people. And when you have that, all you're doing is creating cancer and calcification within the conscious stream of existence within these so-called racial constructs of people. So again, it goes back to biology. All this living together side by side don't mean nothing if niggas ain't fucking with each other. If we're not mating with each other, if my children ain't mating with your white kids, and your white kids ain't mating with my black kids, all we doing is just creating cancers within each other's conscious stream of experiences. And so the fucking problem will exist for another 400 or 500 years.
So
Okay, I got a question for you. How would you
do actually nothing?
So question. So
I got a question for you.
what is that
Yeah.
doing for the world though? We mixing mixed racial and stuff. We blending in and nothing taking nothing for what you're saying either, because I believe that too to get that.
What does it do for the world?
What-
It unleashes knowledge. Because what happens is when
Yeah, it
everybody's
does.
playing aside, they keep knowledge that we don't never generally get to share. But through the exposure of genetic relativity, meaning if you got white kids, half white kids and half black kids because of your seed, things that was hidden on one side and the other gets exposed. And then when it gets exposed, it can be dealt with
But
in the
we
reality.
but we still dealing with the entity that we under. You understand? If we wasn't under no
No,
entity,
eventually there ain't gonna be no entity. There ain't gonna be no pure black, and there ain't gonna be no white. Like, so the
no,
entity gonna dissipate
it is.
and
But
break down.
you know why? Because look how they're gonna blend it in. You know what I mean? Look where COVID came in. What COVID target? You understand? Now we could say planet brought COVID around. COVID
COVID was targeting inbreds, period. That's just part of the whole plan. I mean, I'm the most high. I know that.
Look at the age range that they target. They target the history, the people that can educate us. You understand? People that can tell what was. You understand? That now they can integrate books. They go use the Mandela effect now. You understand? For all the things.
But when people mix, here's what: when people mix, knowledge have a place to hide and exist within this realm. When people are hiding,
what they did with the generation that's mixed
when
race.
people are inbred,
They did
when
with
people are inbred,
look what they did with
when
the
people are inbred.
hold on one second. With the mixed race that we put out there now, because we are mixed race, we are more mixed race than what we are. You understand? We're not more inbred, but what they did was give us now injection. You understand? That's one part. They hit them with a fear of now we could be controlled. We could put y'all in for 2 years. You understand? We can control y'all to a certain aspect. You understand? Look at the protests that's going on now. We could stop protests because
We
now
didn't have so much inbred that whole agenda would have not even been possible. But
Now-
because everybody was
but-
playing,
but-
hear me out. Because everybody has a side, and there was so much purity in the majority of Americans, right? Meaning, if Americans was mixed to a certain extent, you would have had new blood, constitutional attitudes. But because everybody was playing a side, guess what happens when you have the Anglo-Saxon white people playing a side? They start saying, "Fuck that! We gonna have to have regulations on gun control because we don't want these niggas having guns," right? Guess what's gonna happen when they vote? They gonna vote for gun regulations,
that's not just black
which
folks,
means
dude,
it
that's everybody,
minimizes
bro.
the amount of people that the
That's
government
everybody.
is
They don't want
aware of.
anybody. Hey, dude,
Hold on,
they're
but
not
hear me
afraid
out.
of
Again,
a
I get that
particular
they're afraid
race
of anybody,
having
but the
guns.
point that I'm making is here's how having too much purebred people enhances the government's ability to control guns. When you
No, they
have
don't
too
want
much
us.
white,
No, check this out. It's not the fact the government doesn't want us to have guns. They don't want us to have guns together, my friend. They don't want us to have guns
that's my
together.
point.
They
The
don't
only way
want
you
us-
can have guns
like,
together,
that's-
hold up.
That's
The
what this
only way you
whole
can have guns
conspiracy thing
together,
is.
if you
One at a
have
time, one at a
guns together,
time.
if you hear me out, if you have guns separately, meaning as purebreds within the black paradigm, the white paradigm, the Mexican paradigm, or whatever we got, right? When you have people who are holding guns and they all are not interrelated, what you have is factions. And so you have voting bodies. Again, you might have the white people who are sitting there looking at, oh, these niggas getting guns. They might come
No,
from
that's
revenge.
if you're looking at it from an ununited. That's if you're looking at it from an
Right.
ununited
But
point
if
of view.
everybody, if the bloodlines are intermixed and the culture of Second Amendment culture gets spread around, and you have intermixed groups of people.
Look, I'll tell you something. Look, Source. I'll tell you something right now. Hey, it's Source. I'll tell you something right now. If we're invaded tomorrow, okay, some stupid country decides to invade us tomorrow, okay, I'm telling you this right now from my heart. You can come to my place, dude. I'll give you a roof over your head. I'll put a gun in your hands, man. We'll be ready to rock and roll. Okay, that's all there is to it. All the any race mixing or anything like that, they're coming to get ours, and they're not going to take it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care if it's Source,
any invasion that can happen in America
Bob, or
only
whatever.
happen as a result of racial purity.
No, it's got nothing to do with purity. It's about what I'm trying to build around me. No, it's got nothing to do with racial anything, man.
Yeah.
It's got what I've got. It's got to do with I've built. No, it's got to do with
biological.
No, it's not nothing to do. No, I am not defending biological anything. I'm telling you exactly why I would defend you and why I would defend me. Okay, is because I have built very little. I've worked very hard for what little I have, just like any other fucking man, right?
Right.
And at the same time, you know, here I've got the equivalency of somebody else who has had less. But at the same time, what little I have, I've worked a whole lot harder, a whole lot less, just like anybody else. One second. Well, let me finish. The thing is that I'd be so willing to defend that. I would be fully encouraging you to defend equally what you have as well. I would hope that in some hypothetical situation, if you were my neighbor right next door to me, we could depend on each other for food. We could depend on each other for you know, whatever, you know. And
what happens
the
when
whole,
you
like,
have,
for example, if China or Russia or let's say Martians came, who cares? They came to take whatever we have here. Period.
All right.
And if that takes place, that's why, you know,
we can acknowledge that there's lots of immigrants coming in America, right? We can acknowledge that, right? Like every day there's like 1,000 motherfuckers crossing the border in the southern part, right? Of the national
many
territory,
races,
right?
Yeah,
Right?
many races, yeah.
Do you think on average that those people are going to come in here and mix and blend with the Americans that's already here?
No.
And if they do come, what kind of Americans do you think they're going to? Wait, time out. Now, because we gotta talk on a basic level, because this is what I'm saying. People be getting caught up in politics and they be moving away from the humanistic part, which is biochemistry, right? When these Mexicans or these Africans or these Chinese people who came here through whatever means they got to get to the Mexican border, when they come here, they're not trying to find opposite polarity of humans to fuck with. They're coming to find their own kind of people who already are here and to establish footing, social footing. For them, it's not the thought of being racist. They don't even have to think racist. It's just a logical, simplistic perspective of what will happen. If I am a dark-skinned Nigerian, I go and I find, hey, where did Nigeria are? Where are these Nigerians? Where are they? Where are they? We go, right? If I'm fucking China, man, I'll go find who, where I from in Chinatown. We go find each other. We open restaurants. We get a job or whatever, right? When people come here, bro, we could.
That was kind of racist. Hold on, time out. That was kind of racist. We do not.
Okay. No. Let's just say. Hey, do me a favor. Let the pseudo white guy stay right here. No, I need to say something out there.
Wait,
Stop. This is liability type of thing. I'm mentioning this. I'm hopefully I'm covering myself legally. This is the point. But just so that it's out there and it's said, and once it's out there, there's no taking it back. Racism is bad.
Man.
Hitler was bad. We're reading from the same page when it comes down to things being based on color.
I didn't name myself source being for kicks and giggles. You know what I'm saying? So if you can read
I appreciate that. Like there's no tomorrow. It's just, yeah.
I'm just here
It's not,
modifying my
no,
biomatrix conversation.
but that goes right back to the entertainment aspect of things. You know, you look at Mel Brooks and Blazing Saddles, one of the funniest fucking films ever made in the
This
world.
idea
You,
that we got to ignore the biochemistry of things because of nice sayings and equilibrium type of conversations and semantics. It's nonsense. You have to tackle the reality of it, which is the biochemistry. If you got people coming in from different regions of the planet to come into this system we call America, right? And America is supposed to be the land of the free. What you're going to have is people who are going to build up an embodiment that's greater than the majority or than the mixture and create a majority right under our noses
but they
and
don't,
bring
they
their
don't
culture
have,
from wherever they're from.
they don't have a,
And then what's
they don't have
happening
a
is they're
right.
going to
Yeah,
redefine the
look,
Constitution.
no, but
They're
that's
going to
where
redefine
they
the
don't have a.
Constitution.
That's where they look. That's where they don't have a right to create the or disturb our culture.
What
It's
you're
life,
trying to, you
liberty,
forget that they're going to
life,
come in,
liberty, and
brother.
no,
But
it's
they're going to
life,
come in, they're going to make
liberty.
babies.
It's
They're going
life.
to make
It's
babies. And when
life.
the babies are born,
Yes,
they're going to be legitimate
and
Americans with
yes,
immigrant
and they're gonna have
parents,
those.
with immigrant mentality.
And
Then they're going to go to college. Then they're going to get grants. Then the grants are going to help them have these degrees.
No,
Then they're
but
going to get into jobs. Then they're going to get into politics.
yeah,
Then they're going to become part of
but
Congress
hey,
in 40 years.
hey,
Then when they become part of
hey,
Congress and voting
10-minute
rights,
warning, 10-minute
look,
warning, 10-minute warning.
so it's,
oh, God,
yeah.
God.
look, so it's, but
10 minute warning.
why would they have the heritage mentality if they're in America now? Now, yeah, they gonna be first generation American. I mean, yeah, first generation Americans coming from their parents, coming from wherever they coming from. You understand?
Okay.
Now, certain cultures will really stick together. Asians, Africans, yeah, you understand. But now you got certain Spaniards that will mix race, you know, depending on where they're growing up at.
Also, think of the pandemic that's happening within the white populations of Americans. A lot of their kids are becoming drug addicts and things like that, right? The classical Americans, the traditional Americans, because they're not doing well interbreeding with the other races that have been here just like them, what's happening is they're dying out, right? They're not gaining property and assets and creating capital value within the construct. So they're, even though they're classical and they have a sense of constitutional awareness, these new groups of Americans are getting jobs. They're getting welfare and programs to help them become part of the American construct. But guess what they're not doing? They're not having indoctrination in the American value system, which we automatically have.
I agree wholeheartedly with that.
Generations. So what happens is they're making babies, Asian babies, they're making African Nigerian babies. They're still staying African and Nigerian mentally and culturally while paying taxes while voting. And this is where the crisis is happening.
Okay, here's my question though. Why wasn't the vetting system that we created, here's my question, why was the vetting system that we created for immigration in the first place so shitty that it allowed...
Not that the vetting system is shitty, it's just that people who play for sides, so say for example, you have Anglo-Saxon people in control of the vetting systems, they might be thinking, yo, let's compete with the blacks. Let's bring in these Nigerian blacks because we are a collective who don't care about interbreeding and mixing, but we happen to be the group of people responsible for the vetting programs, or we are the people who majority run the jobs on the field of immigration processing, and we hate niggas. We hate African Americans, but we also are Americans. Hear me out. So because we hate African Americans, we're going to let these fucking Nigerians come and pollute them while forgetting the bigger picture here. So over time, that very same hate is going to empower the other group of people to come in and become a collective that will then dominate in the political arena, that will then help erode the natural freedoms that America was designed to have.
Are you afraid of something? Are you afraid of an influence like the South African the mentality they recently took with the Dutch?
It won't work here because this is not in whatever mentality, whether it's Arabic, whether it's European, whether it's Asian, it ain't gonna work here because all these motherfuckers come from communist systems, caste systems, and all types of systems that are not designed to change and be modified on this planet. So America is the modification and the evolution place for these groups of people.
So you wouldn't
to come here.
Would you advocate for Sharia law in any way, shape, or form?
No, but guess what's gonna happen when a bunch of Arabs come here and they get to mate, and then you have a bunch of dark-skinned black people coming from Africa who happens to fall under these groups and these type of religious systems, and they become the voting body and majority, and they have land and they have cohesion, and they don't mate with other people, and it doesn't break it down and reduce some of those particular concepts into an American constitutional type of mentality, or eventually then they'll make Sharia law a reality in America.
And meanwhile, our American families being bastardized through
Right.
the
And that's what's just going to
convenience
happen
of
all
birth
around.
control.
If you have all these Asian people going in and creating a Chinatown in every fucking state, eventually in every fucking state they're going to have Chinese mentalities being pushed to the forefront of the politics and the legislation. And so over time, those legislations are going to mimic that of communist China. And that's why America is failing, because people are not biologically intertwining with each other. And so what happens is you have a locking of personalities becoming part of the American system that has nothing to do with the American system.
We still
Because when the
we
white,
still
hear
have
me out,
good
hear me out.
we
And like,
but we still have good reminders. We still have good reminders about we got
which are
5
being
minutes.
torn down, which are
But
being torn down by people
we still
right now.
have good standards that are being set by role models. I'm telling you this right now. I was raised
And
by
most of
role
those role
models.
models that are setting
I
it
know them when I see.
technically tend to be mixed
Look,
people.
whether they're mixed or not, it doesn't matter what color they were.
You just keep
What I'm
ignoring
saying
this
is
color stuff,
there
which
are.
is part of humanity. You keep ignoring it for semantics, bro.
No,
You
no,
gotta
I'm not
pay attention.
ignoring. I'm telling you that
Mhm.
color was never an issue. We were taught that color was never an issue. Like I
Okay,
said,
forget
man,
color. Genetic
you go by,
tactics.
But what
sorry?
he's
Forget color.
saying
I'm gonna use a whole new
is,
term. Genetic
I mean,
tactics.
I understand what he's saying, that since it's being presented by that person, which is of that nature, that is being accepted. You know what I mean? Because if it was given from another person, it probably wouldn't be more accepted. You understand? So I mean,
Yeah.
and not even that more
What do you
accepted.
think? What do you
It's
think?
a platform
Because
for
see,
him to
one of the
say
things.
it.
One of
There
the
are
things
more.
we seem to
There are
forget is
more
some of the
heroes.
cultures.
There are more.
So
I think there are
you
more
got
heroes
people.
in this world than you absolutely think. I think
They
there are
always
more
are. They
heroes in this
always
world.
are. They
But
always are.
well,
And integration
but the
is
thing
where
of
you
it
get
is, it's
peace
like
from.
I think
Peace don't
this
exist without integration.
but I think this anxiety
Find
that I
where
think
peace
you
exists
feel
without
about
integration.
immigrancy, dude. There's a side of our patriotism. There's a side of our country that we know that is there with pumping through our veins as Americans. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You, me, everybody
But what I'm
here,
trying to
everybody
explain
who's
to you
watching,
is that
everybody's
that
American. At
patriotism
the end
you
of the
speak
day,
about, that patriotism you speak about dwells within the black Americans that been here for 5, 6 generations in, the white Americans that been here for 5, 6 generations in, and if they don't mate with each other, because guess what also is a part of the matrix that we didn't even talk about? Diseases. If white people
no,
just keep
no. But
mating
see,
into
the
each
thing of
other,
it is
they
what
come out.
what you're forgetting is the and this the 2.5 minutes, 2.25 minutes.
Come out.
The thing you're forgetting is that there are folks that oh, God, man, that they feel this calling for to do what's right. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The
That's fine
military
and
sets the
dandy,
standard for that. Your
but
your
without
first
new
responders
blood
set the standard for that.
without new DNA, what you end up having is a bunch of autistic people being born on all sides of the spectrum, people with all types of mental debilitating diseases
But if
and
you pull
degradation,
genius,
genetic degradation.
but if
So
you
what happens
pull,
is the
but if
original
you pull
breed of
genius from
Americans,
but if
whether
you're
they're black or
pulling
white,
genius from the world, but if you're pulling genius from the world around, if there's everybody around, every piece of genius,
you might get a communist genius.
every corner in the
If
world.
the
No,
communist
let's say
geniuses
every
come
genius.
here and they become genius communists, they make communist genius babies.
Let's say,
Do
no,
math
it's
better.
not. I mean, you grab the genius of the world, the best of the world of whatever field that they are in, and you join them together, and by your own concept as far as procreation, the whole 9 yards, nothing but genius would be likely to be procured from there on. And there
Right.
you
But
would
what I'm
still have
saying
that.
is
You would still
the
have that.
rate
You
of
would still
how
have that
much
mixture. You would have
if
still have
you
that mixture, and it would
when you
not be
have a
tainted.
cultural
It would
mixture,
not be tainted by the mental. It would not be tainted by
a
the.
cultural mixture is not enough. You're still
No,
scratching
it's
the
not this
surface. A
culture. It's
cultural
not this
mixture
culture. I'm
is
talking
not enough.
genetic
It has
connection.
to be biological and it has to be genetic. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
Yeah,
You can't have
I agree with
America
you.
cannot sustain a system where white people come from Europe and they might be
Yeah, but
geniuses. White people come from Russia and
I
they might
just
be
I
and then
just
they just
described the
make babies with
whole.
the same kind of people here. Chinese people come
That's the
from
whole
China.
kind of
They
American
might be
dream. But
geniuses. They might add
that's
to
the
the
American
American
dream.
system, but then they still
The
make
American
Chinese
dream is
babies.
to gather up
African
the best
geniuses
of the world
can't come
and
here
then,
and just make
yeah, don't
African
leave.
geniuses.
One at a
That's
time.
not
One at a
sustainable.
time.
You still have
Yeah.
to have a system where these geniuses are literally mating with other biological people. They can't just come in
You
here
don't
and
have
just
to, but
mate
if it
with
happens,
themselves. But it has to happen at a greater rate. And what America's right now is failing at,
nah.
and people don't understand that. People are just skirting it,
People don't
and
give
they're
a fuck who
and
they
for
want to fuck.
example,
I'm sorry. Oh
huh?
shit.
Yo,
Later. It's two.
yo,
It's 2 hours,
I'm not.
bro. That's it.
Okay,
Dude, I
well,
love
yo,
arguing.
yo,
This
yo,
is
yo,
awesome.
everybody.
Hey,
No, that's cool. Everybody give your final thought if you want. I'm camera out. Everybody let everybody speak. Give your final thought and we're gonna wrap it up. We gonna start with you, Moves.
yeah, man. I've got about 2.5 hours, no, 4.5 hours to go to sleep and wake up and get on time to work. Yeah, it's been fun. One of the main aspects that I feel absolutely lucky to sit down with you guys and have my first perspective as far as some surprising results. As far as I'm concerned, I learned a lot tonight. There were some preconceived notions. I'm not going to lie that I had, but at the same time, Doc and shoot, I had a few. I forgot to do that was a source. Yeah, source, the guy I was arguing with. Yeah, he had a lot to I had to say. I had a lot to try and shed a light on in this short amount of time, and it was yeah. I'm gonna walk away thinking about this as far as these mating concepts of it. So yeah, it's gonna be fun next time. If there is one, but like I said, I really do appreciate to hear and be a part of the perspective and ask the questions that have been kind of plaguing me for some time, especially about conspiracy theories. So, peace, guys. I gotta get and yeah, y'all be well.
All
Peace,
right,
man.
be good, Aaron. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, y'all take care, man.
Peace,
All right,
man.
be good. Have a good one. Yo, go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, man. I just want definitely a great show, man. Definitely a great build with great minds. You know what I mean? And just give and take, get different takes from you guys. You know what I mean? And different opinions and outlooks. You know what I mean? Hopefully Uncle Jackie, throw another show out there like this, or you know what I mean, and we could build a little bit more. But this was great, man. And Source, I appreciate you, like I said, and giving your input. Appreciate Moves giving his input, and
Right.
and just you guys just we an entity, I've been saying in other shows. We an entity, and we just got to know how to beat the system. And within beating the system, yes, it's with mixing race and mixing mixing minds. You know what I mean? But if they control the outtake and output of things, then we already behind the gate. So time to climb that fence. But anyway, thanks for supporting, commenting, and joining, like and subscribe.
Appreciate you, Doc. Definitely.
No doubt.
You go ahead, Source.
Hey man, I'd like to thank y'all for being a part of this, and I'd like to thank you for putting me in your show. And I hope all the viewers like and subscribe your show. It's a good forum, and the way you give us time to talk and really hash out our ideas is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope everybody understand that we are the system. We ain't trying to beat the system. We ain't trying to fight the system. We are the system. You are a component of the system. The amount of time and dedication you put to dealing with yourself is how you deal with the system. So, hopefully we have more time to maybe come back and talk it out. Maybe might be more minds to interject and put more different spectrums into this thought process that I'm having because I'm living the thought process that I talk about. Anyway, it's one love. I appreciate y'all and peace.
Yeah, we appreciate you too, man.
Right.
Good to see you and all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long
Good to see you
motherfucking
too.
time. So yeah,
Yeah, man.
I
Thanks for
appreciate you for
triggering
it
it.
too.
I
All right,
appreciate it.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, of course. Of
I mean,
course.
yo, Jack, not for nothing. So it's just like, we, like it. Your thought process is, I love it. You know what I mean, and how you put it out. But we gotta learn how to, we are the system. I agree with you with that too. But and then there's an entity in place, and we're gonna be in the system, and we gotta control the system. You know what I mean? And we gotta find, a way to deliver it to the people. On, yeah, we mixing, but what else could be done? What else we could implement to
Most of it is individual behavioral practices in your own life and also within the people that you commune with on a personal level. Most of dealing with the system is not really projecting to the outside world. It's really your behaviors within your own personal life. The majority of it, like 99% of it. That 1% is literally Bill Gates and them and just information we shooting at each other.
But,
you get what I'm saying?
But yeah,
real control matrix is how you behave in your own life with people you know.
That's true fact.
With your own existence, with your own behavior, like on a daily level, with your own thought process. It's not really being aware of who's fucking buying up all the land and all this other shit. These are just things to help navigate, you know what I'm saying, how you should position your behavior, yourself, your spirit with your body. Because your body is a machine that you operate in. You see what I'm saying? They're operating their bodies too within their own paradigm. They have constricts and restrictions. You know how free it is for you to go around and be able to meet hundreds of different people versus a guy who got to have security guard with him. He got to sit down and plot. He might be a millionaire, but believe it or not, he ain't as free as me and you.
That's
fact. Get what I'm saying? So it's just about altering your perception and how you control this reality versus thinking about how they control the reality. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
sometimes their power is just a payment process. All that glorification that we have for them is just an explanation for a payment process that we have to click on our phone to make some money go from one place to the other. They might even have no more power other than that, and we just giving them more power by believing they're so grandiose, more so than we are. You see what I'm saying? I could literally hop on a plane probably tomorrow and come meet you and without having to think about how much people I got to put in place to protect me and all this other stupid shit. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So you got to realize that you're more powerful than you are, and these so-called elites and things that are in the medium are just nodes in our own subconscious. And the way we behave with each other as men and as families and as different people, that's really what's more important than how these niggas are injecting people and doing all this other shit, the government, the politics. You see what I'm saying? And once you get to that place in your life, bro, you'll realize that you are the most high.
But that's why I tell Jackie he needs another show, because like we could go on and on about this. It don't mean to cut you off either, brother.
That's so good, man. You didn't even cut me off.
That final thought, and I don't want to keep extending this past. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Respect.
No, it's all good.
I mean, that's all, bro.
It's all good.
But we need another show behind it, like I said, because like we could go on and on for days, bring moves back on, and you know what I mean? Because we could build, bro. Like-minded, you know what I mean?
Yeah, next Thursday I'll have a better format so everybody can talk. Everybody have a specific amount of time, and then pass the, like how we doing the final thought. That's how we do it. That way, everybody, hear everybody's thought, and then either I guess battle it, dispute it, or say how you agree with it or what you would change about the thought. A better format.
It's a learning process. Every time it gets better.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Oh yeah, for sure. We probably be back next Thursday, but instead of 8 o'clock, I probably choose 9 o'clock. I don't know. It depends on Move, because he's in. Both of y'all are on a different time zone, but you're off. I got to see what's up with Move's schedule. But this actually went way over what I wanted it to. But I'm gonna do my little end game before we kind of wrap it up.
Well, I believe you might have a lot of material that you can snip and just make shorts out of it and shit, which is good.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't even be thinking like that most of the time, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of provocative shit.
Oh, definitely. Yo, to end it off, I appreciate everybody who came through. I appreciate Moves. I appreciate you, Sauce. Y'all was saying some shit like I'm just sitting here trying to just absorb what I'm absorbing. Every time I want to say something, y'all counters was shutting me up. And then the one thing I was gonna say, then Doc said it. So it was like, yo, wow. I'm just gonna sit back here and I'm just gonna enjoy this this beer and my vegetables or whatever have you. And it was great just listening to y'all go back and forth. And yeah, it was a lot of learning right here. And a lot of the stuff I did know and I did understand. But it was fun, man. I definitely will be doing this again next week. We could be back next week. This is fun. This was definitely fun. I might actually pick a conspiracy so all of us could sit there and study it or look it up or whatever. And that way we just we have one thing to focus on, and hopefully it's something that none of us know about. I might go back as far as Washington or something, take it back to school or something. But nah. But yeah, everybody who tuned in, I'm gonna try to start the next week's show a little later because I think 9 o'clock might be a good time for folks for some reason after 8. But we'll see how that go. But thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate you, Doc, for being here as well.
Ready.
I know you want to see your Knicks. How did that turn out in terms of the scores?
Yeah, we Philadelphia came back at halftime 54-51.
So they're winning?
Yeah, Knicks was up by 12 at least, but they lost lead. But anyway, they Philadelphia up by 3, 54-51.
All right. Knicks and 6. But that's about it, man. I appreciate everybody, the panel tonight. Y'all were dope.
Oh shoot, he fell off. So I guess he's gonna come back in a little while. Pause. But yeah. Ms. Brinson, thanks for coming through. Mr. Hexter, Day appreciate and like we said before, it was a good show. I mean, thanks for Source for coming through. Moves. There you go.
Yo, I don't even know what happened there just now. I just know I wasn't even on the screen anymore. But yeah, I appreciate everybody who coming through. What up, Day? Appreciate you, Miss Brinson, of course, and everybody else who came through tonight. One name I forgot because for some reason I don't see all the comments anymore. But if you came through, that was the Twitch channel. So, shout out to Twitch. Shout out to y'all too, man. I hope everybody have a good night. Titi, what's up? I appreciate you, Miss Brinson. Appreciate it. We'll be back. We'll be back next week since the people are speaking. So if Source want to return, hey, it's good with me, baby. But like I said, I'm gonna pick something. We're gonna talk. Most likely, we're gonna talk about either Hollywood or Puffy. We're gonna talk about the entertainment business. I'm gonna say it now. Moves, if you're listening, we're gonna do the entertainment business. We're gonna stay on that. That way, no matter who you are, you won't be left out. It'll always be a thought.
Can I just throw one thing in real quick? Can I throw one thing in quick? I tend, because I don't want y'all to get irritated with me, but I tend to bring everything back to the biological type of humans we dealing with. So like if we talk about entertainment, I'm still going to inbred rant. I don't know. That's just how my existence is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my life project to tackle that particular situation, which I think has everything to do with everything. But yeah, just grant me that.
It'll be a different perspective, so it's cool.
Got you. Thanks, man. I appreciate you, man.
And no doubt. Shit, we'll see y'all. Y'all have a good night. Everybody can calm down. Y'all be good, chat. Appreciate y'all.
All right, peace to the gods.
Peace, bro. Peace, y'all.
Yo, I think it's time we take a fucking time out to hear what Harlem got to say. What, niggas? Harlem on the rise. You don't want no problem with us, guys.
Everybody get in line. Listen the fuck up. What's going down? Pay attention. Alright? Now, niggas salute me. Bitches salute me. The block salute me. The hood salute me. You should salute me. They should salute me. So fuck who you are. I'm the motherfucking general. Niggas salute me. Bitches salute me. The block salute me. The hood salute me. You should salute me. They should salute me. you are. When I walk through, everything stops. Silence, remain quiet. Babies don't cry, thugs don't.
I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat.
He talks like his shit don't stink, but he's good people.
I knew his father. I liked his Uncle Jackie better.
Jackie was all right. Uncle Jackie was excellent.
Fucking guineas. Uncle Jackie.
Uncle Jack was like...
Doc, you gotta give us some good news.
Yeah. About that.